Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo, and I'm here for Sangatsu Sunday. Sangatsu no Lion, Episode 6. Last time on Sangatsu, backstory. Information. We got some serious answers to the serious questions. The ones set up from Episode 1 on. Who is Rei? Where did he come from? What happened to his family? How did he get involved with Shogi? How did he get involved with that guy? How did any of it happen? And now we know. He remembered. And we got to see his backstory through his memories. And it was sparked by wonderful little Momo. Wonderful little Momo. And by helping her. Caring for her. Just a beautiful episode. Part of a beautiful show. Every time. It just gets me. You know? The show just gets me. And from all your comments, I feel like this show gets a lot of people, you know? It's just right and true and good. And I'm so glad to be watching it. I'll keep this short so that we can get right into it. If you like this content, like, sub, ring the bell. Subs have not been getting their subscriptions sometimes, so bell is a good idea. And as usual, the next episode will be up on Patreon at the same time that this one goes public on YouTube. So if you want the next episode of Sangatsu, it's up on Patreon for early access. Anyway, Sangatsu, episode 6. Let's get into it. I don't know how copyright will shake out. I've previously been able to put the full videos in there, and sometimes not so much. So we'll see. If I have to, then these become timer-based, and you'll just sync along with your own copy of the media. And if possible, I'd like to put the majority of the show in there, if possible, just because it's better that way. But if it's not possible, then it will be timer-based. So I'm going to put a timer slot here, just in case. Timer could go here. Persimmons. I hate persimmons.
思わず口からこぼれ落ちてた。
What did he say?
どこか行きたい。
どこレイ君どこ行きたいの？
それは何ですか？少しかじらせてくださいますか？
私はね、 トでしょ。あと江ノ島でしょ。あとね、中華街横浜の肉まんとかエビチリとか杏仁豆腐とかキャブーイ。
もまね今はり、あとねおしゃれコーダ。
なんだモモ、それはお前の遠足で行ったところだろ。行きたいところだよ、行きたいところ。
よっぽど楽しかったのね、今はり。ずっと言ってるもんね。
It's not a
お姉ちゃん
persimmon.
はどこ行
What
きた
is
い
it?
の？
Oh, that's an apple.
そう
Or
ね
an Asian pear?
海が綺麗での
Mm.
んびりできるところかな。お昼寝したりエステとかアロママッサージとか。
Mm.
あーでも黙っててもご飯が出てくるだけで幸せかも。
いつもお世話になっております。
Thank you.
うわ
You're the best, Akari.
ああ、やっぱりお伊勢さんかな。ばあさんも行ってみたいって言ってたし。
Why?
で、坊主、お前どこへ来てんだ？
Ah, that turn.
そう言われてやっと気づいた。行きたいところなんてないってことに。
Huh. That's much more meaningful.
どうやら僕はどこかに行きたかったのではなく、どこかへ行ってしまいたかった
Huh.
ということらしいのだ。
それじゃ桐山は今年の移動教室には不参加と。まあ順位戦じゃしょうがないよな。お前もうプロだし仕事だからな。
対局は絶対で、二神道までの葬式等以外での危険は認められない。
Wow.
でも
Which
残
will
念だ
never
よ
happen
な
for him.
移動教室ったら学生時代の一大イベントなんだけどな。
はい。確かに僕は少々がっかりしていた。参加できなかったことにではなく、行かずに済むことに
You know what? Who
内心ほ
is
っとした自分にだ。
しかしな、
his VA?
そんなあからさまにほっとした顔してくれるなよ。
しまった、読まれてた。そんな顔にもろ出てたのか。
いやー、それはわかるけどな。お前友達いないし、こんな時だけいきなり喋ったこともないような奴らのグループに放り込まれて、雑魚寝で4泊5日は確かにきついっちゃかなりきついだろうけどさ。
っていうか先生、包みましょうよ。もっとこうオブラートに。ストレートすぎますよ。
ま、プロ棋士に余分な時間がないのはわかるけどな。
確かに対局は月に数回だが、それは野球やボクシングでいうところの試合と同じようなもので、じゃあスポーツ選手が試合のない日に何をしているか。そう、答えはトレーニング。棋士もスポーツ選手も同じ。試合のない日は練習や勉強をしているのだ。先人たちの残した星の数ほどの棋譜を調べ並べてみたり、同じ棋士仲間で研究会を行って新しい戦法を検討し合ったり。
Life is shocking.
でもこれじゃお前、何のために高校入り直したのかわかん
Yeah,
ない
he
な。
quit at one point.
ですよね。
おい、あっさり認めるなよ。
Because he craves something.
家もないし家族もない。学校にも行ってない。友達もいない。あなたの居場所なんてこの世のどこにもないじゃない。
We get that
京
from
子の言
her.
葉は心のど真ん中に飛び込んできたが、怒りも悲しみも湧き起こらず、ただただその通りだと思った。
Shogunai.
だからこそプロになりたいと思った。
Is it a place?
自分の力だけで生活することができれば、そこが自分の居場所になるんじゃないかと思った。そう思って必死に盤に食らいついてきた。 そしてその夢は叶って現実となり、荷物はほとんどなかったので引っ越しはあっけなく済んだ。
Wow, this song is amazing.
それからしばらくの間はカーテンもテレビもない部屋で、まるで電池が切れたみたいに、対局と時々学校に行く以外では毎日毎日ただ眠り続けた。なぜだか
Drowning.
毎日眠くて眠くてどうしようもなかった。
Yeah. You get
家事は前の家で手伝っていたので一通りできたけど、自分一人だけのためにはご飯を炊くことす
This
ら
is
めんどく
such
さ
a
くて
beautiful picture of depression.
しなくなった。1年目は良かった。今まで積み上げてきたものの貯金で前へ進めた。 C 級1組は現在30人。そのうち10人と対戦をして、勝ち星が多い順に2名だけが B 級2組に昇級できる。昇級には全勝かそれに近い勝ち星が必要だった。
Wow. No room for
しか
defeat.
し2年目の今年、初めて2連敗を食らった。そして呆然としているうちに昇級する目を失った。
Swimming in an endless sea, no destination, just continuing. And the discord in the
泳
piano.
いで泳いで泳いで泳いで泳いで泳いで泳いで、泳ぎ抜いた果てにやっとたどり着いた島。
Wow, this symbolism.
ここまで来ればもう大丈夫だ。
Oh, you have to keep going.
ここにさえ着けば、
You have to keep going.
こ
There's
こ
no
にさえ居
stop.
続けられれば、
It's like
あれ
the
もこ
father
れもと
said,
多くを望まなければ、
those who can't support
停滞
themselves.
を受け入れてしまえば、
Ah,
思考を停止してしまえれば、もうここはゴールで。そしてもう一度嵐の海に飛び込んで次の島に向かう理由を僕はもうすでに何一つ持ってなかった。なんて寒そうな名前なんだろう。初めて見たとき そう思った。でもその初めてがいつだったか思い出せない。
They have the same face.
そのくらいずっと前から当たり前にそこにあった。そうや当時。僕たちの国の神様の子供。
今日はサッカーボールみたいなあのおにぎりじゃないんだな。
先生、
さすがにもう外は寒いか。でもここだって寒いだろかなり。桐山見てくれこれ。新しい将棋現代乗っちゃった。詰将棋交差点。
あ、本当だ。すごいじゃないですか。ああ、なかなか綺麗にできてますね。3一角2三玉1三金同桂3三角成1四玉1三角成同玉2三金1四玉2六桂同金2四馬まで13手詰めですね。
うわー早っ。作るの1週間解くのは一瞬ですよね。プロですもの
And a
ね。
genius.
そうや名人か。すごいな今期も。鬼神清流玉将もうすでに3つ防衛か。
So he's
どんな人なんだ？
the champ.
どんな人なんでしょうね。
会ったことないのか？同じプロでも。
You've met but never spoken?
会ったというより見たことなら。
Special match room.
クラスも違うし、今タイトルはほとんど宗谷名人が持ってるから
It's a mirror of him.
トーナメントで会うことももうほぼないですし。
俺と同い年なんだよなこの人。でも10代の頃から全然顔が変わんないんだよ。なんかこう時間が止まってるっていうか不思議なんだよな。初めて見たのは俺が中学生の時の中学生プロ誕生って特集だったっけ？
Huh.
そうだ。そういやお前のこと初めて見たのもこの本の同じ特集でだったっけ？ああ、そっか。こうやって目の前にいると忘れちゃうけど、お前本当はすごいやつなんだよな。一人ぼっちでポツンと昼飯食ってるけど、ここでは本当いるかいないかわからないけど。
先生、だからもうちょっとオブラートに来る。
No chance.
将棋界の歴史の中で中学生でプロになった人間は今までたったの4人。そしてその4人はその後全て名人になるかタイトルを取っている。けれどその5人目である僕は
He doesn't have that
期
ambition.
待してますよ。あなたは未来の名人と言われてるんですから。天才もたまには不調くらいあるよね。おいおい、どうしちゃったのさ。しっかりしてよ。未来の名人なんだからさ。
So he's got this weight
天才
of
とか言われて
expectation.
いい気になっちゃってるんじゃないの？
He's got this weight of expectation, but he doesn't have the drive. Because
僕は
he never cared about shogi.
すごくないです。全然すごくないんです。
Only because you believe that about yourself.
俺やるよ勝つ。ほらあれだ、勝負に勝つってね。じゃないな。
Yep, nice try.
多分この場合は己に勝つだな。
ああ、そうか。先生、連敗のこと。
さてとな、桐山、来月になったらもっと寒いぞ。お前もそろそろ教室で食べら
Not
れる
win
よ。
for yourself,
でも教室で一人で食べるっての
but
も
from
目
yourself.
立っちゃってあれかな。辛いよな。
だから先生、オブラートに包んで。で、ああ、そっか。 破けてるんですね、先生のオブラートって。
Yeah, but that's what you need.
あ、じゃあ俺が一緒に食ってやろうか。
先生、余計目立つと思うんです。
Yeah,
桐山はな、試験の成績はいいんだけど
of
な。
course.
でもお前がもう一回学校に入ってきたのって勉強がしたかったからじゃないよ
He's through
な。
him a little bit.
多分。
言い当てられて何も言えなかった。11月、僕に3つ目の黒星がついて
What are black stars?
炭を飲んだような気持ちになった。
Ooh, that water again.
頭では分かっているのに動けないのはなんでだ。勝つ理由がないとか言いながら負けると苦しいのはなぜだ。中途半端だ、僕は。何もかも。
レイちゃん？
お、ひなちゃん。
レイちゃんも商店街？
あ、
私もね、本屋さん行くんだ。一緒に行かない？レイちゃん最近来ないね。ゆうべ餃子だったんだよ。皮から作ったの。すごく美味しかったんだから来ればよかったのに。
うん、そっか。の
Do you want some?
買ってあげようか。
いいよ、悪いし。
あ、いや、いいよ、全然。100円だし。はい、どうぞ。
ありがとう。作った。測った。でも美味しい。
Oh, wow.
レイちゃんやっぱり
These turns that they do.
元気ない。レイちゃん泣いてた。涙がポーロポーロしてた。きっと思い出しちゃったんだね。レイちゃん最近来ないね。そうね。でも今は少しそっとしといてあげましょう。そういう時もあるものよ。お姉ちゃんはああ言っていたけれど。だけどノム、あのね、今日は天ぷらなの。かぼちゃとか玉ねぎとかお姉ちゃんがあげるとすっごく美味しいの。だから
Hina.
レイちゃんはいつも静かで大人っぽいけれど、でも泣き虫なところもあるから心配なの。だからうちにおいでよ。一緒にご飯食べよう。
Oh my god.
その声は流れ星のように次々に耳に飛び込んでは光って魚のように集まりだした。冷たかった胸に日だまりができた。普通の触れ方を知らないから戸惑っていたら触れてくれた手にどれだけ夜をくぐり抜けてもずっと冷めないままの熱が脈を打つ。君がいるそれだけで命の全部が
The light begins to shine in over the city.
心にその鼓動が響き火を灯す。いくつもなくなった後に強く残った一つ残った離れないいつでもそばに僕の中に一番
There's a huge portion after... Okay. I think I should not be pausing. Yeah, it just continues. Wow.
改めて思った。このひなちゃんという子は小さいけど優しくてとてもしっかりしている
This
の
is
だ。
new.
でも中学生に心配される高校生って一体。そうだ、ひなちゃんは妹の面倒を見て家のことも手伝ってお店の手伝いもして、あかりさんなんてみんなの世話をきちんとして、和菓子屋さんの方も銀座のおばさんの店も手伝って、
No half measures.
みんなものすごい頑張っているのに。
Yeah.
そうだよな。なんで俺は俺のことだけですぐいっぱいいっぱいになってしまってるんだろう。情けない。ひなちゃん？
Brain freeze?
おう、川本。
Oh.
あの時のひなちゃんの好きな。お友達かな。ここどうぞ。僕はもう行くんで。
Nope, stay. Please, stay. Hey, let's chat. This is cool.
気まずい。何を話したらいいのかしら。スポーツマンとなんて話し
You're
た
a
こと
pro
ない
sports
よ。
player yourself. No preview. Wow, that was a cool little after scene. That was really good. Okay, well, I've got 2.5 pages of notes, and it's actually not enough. There were a couple of lines that I missed and just wasn't able to get down. One of them was at 1807-ish. So let's go find that, because it was something that was worth me writing down that it was there. Yeah. I understand it in my head, but why can't I move? I say I have no reason to win, but why is it so painful when I lose? It was here, I think. It's always a half measure. Everything. Okay. This episode was freaking dense with emotion. Not shown emotion in this case. It was told, which is interesting, but beautifully characterized anyway. So, like, show don't tell is a general rule, but it's not necessarily a hard and fast rule. You can very you can do extraordinary things with telling, especially with a narration of past feelings by a character. You can do extraordinary things. Before we do that, before we go through the things that I noted down, because there are a lot and I want to talk about them, and it might get kind of deep. But before we do that, I want to look up the voice actor for Rei. So let me see. Because he's just so good. He's so extraordinarily good. Kawanishi Kengo. Okay, Sangatsu. Huh. Nothing that I really recognize him from. But damn, he is good as Kiriyama Rei. So damn good. Alright, anyway. We start off with this sort of really interesting intro with Rei saying that he wants to go somewhere. And we know that it's not quite literal. We know that from the get-go. because he tells us that he didn't realize he said it until the words left his mouth, and so it's something that he either regrets saying or doesn't realize that he's saying, doesn't realize what he means by it. And then we go through their fantasies. Their, Momo wants to go digging for potatoes and is super cute, which is awesome. Hina's got her own things that she wants to do, and Akari wants to just go and relax. And after hearing that, all of them are like, Akari, we love you. You're the best. Thank you. Which is awesome. And then I didn't have a place I wanted to go. I just wanted to go somewhere else. That's an emotional feeling. It's not a physical place feeling. It's I wanted to be somewhere else emotionally. I wanted something to change. And that's an overriding feeling that's common to depressed people. And I speak from experience. So I'm going to talk quite a bit about depression in the next going over this episode. And I'll just let you know that when I'm speaking about depression, I'm speaking from personal experience, and my experiences do not necessarily match the experiences of others who have depression or have had depression in the past, but they are my experiences, and I'm quite experienced with ongoing chronic major depressive disorder. Quite experienced with it. I am, for the most part, out of it at this point, but it is always there. Then we get some insight. What do pros do on their days off? They train. They throw themselves into the sport or the thing entirely. They're focused on it and nothing else. And then we get the scene from Kyoka, where she tells him, where she lists out his flaws, basically. All the things that suck about his life. You have no friends, no family. There's no place for you in this world. And then Ray explains how he desperately latched onto the board, feeling, if only I could support myself, then that could be the place where I belong. And we know there's so much interwoven depth in these statements because we had a full episode dedicated to his feelings of wanting to leave the nest before he consumed the family, and a whole section dedicated to his chasing out his family using shogi as something to fill the void. So there's much more depth to this. It's not just that he was looking for a place to belong. There are all these other reasons that he latched, quote, desperately latched onto the board. And at this point, I realized that this episode was giving us an extraordinary picture of depression, what it is, what it feels like. And I would say that of things that I have seen, I have never seen a show or read a book or seen any piece of media that captures the feeling of depression as well as this one does. Then we get a scene that's maybe 30 seconds long, maybe a little bit longer, where he just says, I swam and swam and swam and swam and swam and swam. And that's what depression feels like. Because there's no goal. You lose sight of future. You lose any form of inspiration. You just keep swimming. You just keep moving forward through a thick sea of viscous. It's like you're in a fog. But it's more than that. It's as though every motion is you pushing against the current, pushing against the world, and the world is conspiring to push back against you. The air around you is thick and heavy, and it slows your motions and slows your ability to move forward. And then he reaches the island, which I think in this case is the moving up one level in shogi. then he says, I do want to see that. I stopped the recording, which I probably shouldn't have done, because there are so many things I want to go through. I finally made it to the island, and he's just crawling on the beach. I finally made it to the island. If I come this far, I should be okay. As long as I get here. As long as I could stay here. As long as I didn't wish for this or that. As long as I accepted stagnation. As long as I stopped thinking. That is right on the money. When you're depressed and you get to a point where things are acceptable, you can just tread water and stay there and accept stagnation. I've been there for quite a long time in a couple of different ways. One of those ways was escapism. Unthinking escapism. I accepted stagnation in the form of unthinking escapism, primarily through a video game. I've talked about this, I've just mentioned it in passing before, but I got addicted to League of Legends for quite a while, and it ate my life, consumed me, and I was completely aware that it was consuming me. I was aware that I was stagnated, that I was not moving, that I was escaping and leaving myself to rot in the meantime. But I didn't care, because standing still was better than, as he says, going back into that horrible sea. It was better than facing reality. As long as I accepted stagnation, as long as I stopped thinking. But the thing about depression and escapism is that it doesn't work. It never works, because you're alive. And when you're depressed, what you're trying to do is you're trying to kill yourself without killing yourself. You're trying to stagnate and die by being inactive. You come to a point, and animals do this. Animals do this. When they reach the end of their life, they know that they're going to die. They know that it's going to happen. And they go and they find a place where they feel comfortable, and a place that's away from anyone else. And they wait. And that's what depression really is. It's a switch has flicked in your brain, and you stop looking to the future, and you act as if that future just does not exist and does not matter. And you think and say things like, there's no hope. There's no reason to do that. There's no reason to shower, or to clean my room, or to clean myself, or to take care of myself, or to brush my teeth, or to make myself a good meal. There's no reason to. And so you become at odds with yourself. You become twisted, because you're resistant to taking action that would help you, because you're resigned to die. And that's what it is. You are resigned to die. But until you reach a point in your depression where you actually want to die, where you actually want to end yourself, where you actually desire the release of death, it's a stupid thing. Suicide is stupid. It's utterly stupid. And I want to be very clear about this. I've never, ever hit that point. Never. it's ridiculous to me. But I also want to be clear that I understand why a person might hit that point. And I also want to say that if any of you are or feel depressed and you ever feel like taking your own life, you can reach out to me and I will respond to you immediately. Okay? I want to make that super clear. I won't know what you're going through, but I'll understand a little bit. And if you ever think about taking your own life, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. I'll put my email address right up here. Okay? If you ever feel even an inkling of that way, if you ever want to talk about more personal stuff, feel absolutely free to reach out to me. It is not an imposition. Not at all. I do not consider it doing you a favor or anything like that. I consider it a necessity. If you don't have someone to talk to, you can talk to me. That's all I'll say on it. You can talk to me. Do not hesitate to reach out if you need to. It's important. It's important. And I can listen and I can argue with you. Because I've been in a similar place and no one deserves to go through that. Okay? And I genuinely, seriously care. Even if I don't know you, even if we're a million miles away from each other, it does not matter. You are a human being, a sentient creature, and you deserve to live a life that is worth living. And I think that if you need to talk, I can help. Maybe. And I'm more than willing to try. Any time of day, do not hesitate, please. I'll put my email here. It's the email that I use for this channel, and it's set up. I always get notifications for it. If I receive an email from you that says I need to talk, I will read it immediately, any time of day or night, and I will respond to you as soon as I possibly can. I just want to be super, please, do not hesitate. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's never worth it. It's never worth it. But this stagnation that he's talking about is perfect. It's perfect. I'm gonna keep playing this because there were some other lines. As long as I stopped thinking, then I reached my goal. Yeah, as long as I pretended that I had reached my goal, I was there. And I didn't have a single reason anymore. Plunge back into that stormy sea or head to the next island. Because I had convinced myself that I was there already, that I had made it. But you can't convince yourself of that. I forgot to finish that thought. You become at odds with yourself. Become a creature of inconsistency, at war with yourself, because your animal nature wants to live desperately, but your mind, when you hit that point, your mind wants to die. Your mind wants to turn off, and so you stop doing the things that you must do, but the hunger pangs still come, and eventually you have to give in to them, because the truth is that your conscious mind is not in control of you. your needs are in control of you, really. Your need for food, your need for sleep, your need for everything is what's really in control of you. And everything else comes after that. So when your conscious mind, when your ego tries to take over and die, you can't let yourself. And this fucks with you so much because we like to convince ourselves that we are conscious beings, right? That we're in control of ourselves. But we're not. We're not. You have to do those things. Eventually. But you can go really far in hurting yourself. And eventually we can reach the point where we decide to override our animal nature, our will to live. We can take our own lives. And that's a horrible thing. But it's also an evolutionary trait. The ability to make that choice is an evolutionary trait. And maybe it's a mistake. Maybe it's a mistake of evolution. Maybe not. I don't know. But it has to do with having free will. And thus ends Child of God Part 1. It's an extraordinarily perfect picture of depression. So, Child of God Part 2. We are introduced to Soya Toji. I want to look up and attempt to translate his name. Let's see. If I grab the kanji and throw it into translate. No. Any alternates? No. Darn. Darn. Oh well. If any of you are native Japanese speakers and you know what he means when he says, to me his name seemed so cold, if you could let me know, I'd really appreciate that. Thanks. So he's the champ. And through him we get a mirror of Rei. Their character designs are very similar. Their faces are very similar. The hair color is different, but their faces are quite similar. And Soya Toji is portrayed with washed out dead eyes. But he's the lead-in to the explanation of the expectations that are placed on Rei. Because Toji was another middle school professional, and it's expected that a middle school professional will become a master or a champion. And so that expectation weighs on Kiriyama. But he doesn't have the internal drive, the internal motivation to do that. And it's something that was talked about in the last episode by the father figure. And there was a really interesting animation of like a stick figure almost, climbing. He says that, in the professional shogi world, the climb never ends. It never ceases. You have to keep going. And if you don't have that motivation within you, then you might as well give up. And it's used in that context to talk about his own children. But here, it's used to talk about Rei, because he doesn't actually have that motivation. His motivations for playing shogi are not to play shogi. They are to chase out his parents, to enable him to enter into the family, then to enable him to leave the family, to support himself, and to to hope that he can reach his goal, to reach that island and rest. But he doesn't have the internal desire to be a shogi player. He doesn't have the love for it. And that's important. And then, Black Star. I wanted to look this up. Huh. Yeah, I don't know what the Black Star is. Again, if any of you know, that would be awesome. I'm thinking that because he says when I got my 3rd Black Star, I'm thinking that either it's a ranking system thing or it's his 3rd loss. Like a Black Star on your record would be a loss. But I don't know. We get this very interesting line from the teacher. You need to win from yourself. And there are a couple of ways this could be interpreted, and I think they're all right. I don't think there's a right or wrong interpretation of that, but one of them is you need to have the drive to win from yourself. It needs to come from within you and not be an external reason, not be something that's forced upon you by another person or by circumstance, by the father figure or by your need to support yourself. You need to win from yourself. The other is that it is more like you need to win as in from yourself, as in like break away from yourself. You need to win against yourself, right? I don't know. I feel like it's both and sort of mixed together. And then the teacher shows that he has high perception. You didn't come back because you wanted to study. No. He came back because he wants to be somewhere else. He wants something in his life besides shogi. And maybe he kind of, though he wouldn't admit it, wants friends. Wants to meet people. And that puts part 3 at the end in an interesting perspective, because now he's sitting across from this guy, and he and this guy actually have some similarities that could be explored in an interesting way. This guy is looked at as destined to be a baseball star, right? He's destined for greatness, and he's respected for it, but he's also popular. So he's an odd foil to Rei. They're both professional athletes, in a sense, or on that track. But this guy is very popular, and Rei is very not. And I could see them becoming friends in a strange way. But then there's this scene. Where is it? Yes. Okay. After getting my 3rd Black Star, I felt like I swallowed black ink. This is done over some of the more beautiful shots in the show. I understand it in my head, but why can't I move? This, again, is the being at odds with yourself when you're depressed. You understand what you have to do in order to get out, in order to move forward. But you feel you lock yourself down. And so part of the crushing nature of depression is that you desperately want to be out of it, but you also desperately want to stagnate, desperately want to stay where you are, because it's hard to go back into the sea and swim against the current. It's hard. And either side can win out. I say I have no reason to win, but why is it so painful when I lose? You know, I say I have no reason to eat, but why is it so painful when I forgo food? I say I have no reason to work, but why is it so painful when I sit here and do nothing? This is the struggle that I've gone through. This is my story too. And then he says the most amazing line. It's always a half measure. With everything. And that just hit me in the heart. Like a knife to the gut. Because I talked about this in the reaction to either episode 3 or episode 4, I don't remember. I talked about this at length. That is me. That is me a month ago. Exactly a month ago. Now. That is me. Always a half measure. Never doing anything wholeheartedly. And I realized a little more than a month ago. And I realized that the realization was catalyzed by the death of my beloved dog. My beloved dog. I realized it was because I hated myself and I hated what I was doing. I hated the work that I had chosen. And so I never put myself into it. I never gave my all to it. And this is perfect because one of you commented on my recent early access change video saying, wait, but if that's true, then does that mean that you're unemployed right now? Yes. Yes, it does. I dropped everything. I dropped everything to do this. To do this right here, right now. I dropped everything in my life. Because I realized that I was stagnating. And I realized that I hated it. And I realized that I could not stand to spend another minute working the way that I was, being the person that I was. And so I killed that person. And I jumped into this full time. More than full time. I work at this 14 to 18 hours a day. I do nothing but work for this channel. Because this is my dream. This is my goal. This makes me feel alive. This is what I want to do. And now that I've found it, and now that I've started, there is nothing that will make me stop. Nothing. And I've said it before in a couple of videos, but I have a month of runway now. About a month. I have about 8 dozen eggs in the fridge, and I have about 20 pounds of ground beef. And that is calories for about a month. About a month from now, if I don't have approximately $100 pledged on Patreon, because I don't make money through advertisement, I don't put ads on my videos, I don't do it. If I don't have approximately $100 pledged on Patreon, then I will starve next month. That's just the way it is. And part of the fervor of my channel, the drive behind this, the fact that I put out an average of, 5 videos per day, all of them 20 to 45 minutes, with some of them an hour and a half. The fact that I'm so into this is because I am truly putting my all into it. I am putting my life on the line. And I responded to your comment. I'm sure you'll be watching this, because I know that you watch almost everything that I put out, and I love you for it. I really do. I really appreciate it. And thank you, because you've caught some mistakes that I've made and helped me remedy them. And your comments are always welcome. And I love them. But I responded to you, win or die. Voice crack. Win or die. And that's what this is. This is my life on the line. This is my everything. And that is why I am giving everything to it. Because I realized that I could not go on any other way. And I said it before in a previous Sangatsu reaction. I realized that I was dying in front of my computer screen, waiting to die. And I chose. I chose not to stay on the island. I chose not to stagnate. I chose to move forward. I chose to jump into the ocean, come storm, come clear skies, come current, come riptide, come waves, come anything. I chose to dive back in, and I'm not going to stop swimming unless the world forces me to. Because this is right. This is what I should be doing. So I'm going to keep swimming. Win or die, sink or swim. There is nothing else. I wake up and I do this. I finish this and I go to sleep. And I go to sleep and I wake up every morning and every night with a smile on my face. Because I fucking love doing this. Fucking love it. And there are other things that I want to do related to this, but there is nothing that I want to do outside of this. Let me tell you a little bit about my life. I do not leave my house, basically. I can, I'm not agoraphobic or anything, but I am a hikikomori, essentially. And if you saw me when I put my email up there, you'll see that it is hikikomori, spelled M-O-A-R, hikikomori@gmail.com. And that is accurate. I am a hikikomori. I basically do not leave my house. I have groceries delivered. I don't have a car. I have a bike, and I occasionally take bike rides. I built my bike. I have everything here that I need and more. I am incredibly grateful because for the moment, my father is letting me live here. I am living in my parents' house, my father's house. My mother is out of the picture, not something worth talking about. I am living in my father's house. And there are reasons for that, partly because he needs help with maintaining the house and keeping the dog fed and happy, keeping the place clean. I hope to one day be able to pay him rent, and hopefully, hope beyond hope, to pay him back rent for the time that I've spent here, drinking his water and using his electricity and living off of his graciousness. I am living at his house. Because I'm living here, I have access to his workshop, which is extensive. Lots and lots of tools. So I can do great things. I can do woodwork and use his tools, without which I couldn't do a lot of the things that I do for this channel. Like these, right? These little stands. They're drill pressed. I wouldn't be able to do that. I can do some of the stuff that I do because I am here. And I'm incredibly grateful for that. But I do not leave this house. Before I did this work, I was a programmer. I would still consider myself a programmer. And I worked remotely. So I would take freelance jobs sometimes long ones, and build applications or websites for people or for companies. I dropped that to do this. And I dropped it at a point where I really don't have savings. I didn't plan to do this. If I had planned to do this, I would have done one more freelance project and saved at least, a few $100s so that I could eat. But I didn't foresee this. I didn't plan this. I just came to a point where I had to jump in. And I jumped. And now we're here. And we've got like 590 subs now. And there are, what? Now, 12, 13, 14? 14 wonderful people who have pledged to give me money for doing what I love. That's amazing. We're halfway there. My first goal, my goal that is a necessity, is $100 a month on Patreon. And we're halfway there. A little more than halfway there. After Patreon takes its cut, it's $52 per month pledged. And I'm keeping that number public. I know that some Patreon people put theirs as not public, so you can only see the number of patrons that they have. I'm keeping that number public. I want to be completely transparent about it. And if you go onto my Patreon and you look at my goals as they're listed, goal number 1 is eat. At $100 a month, if I am frugal and ration carefully, I can eat. That means eggs and butter. Lots of eggs. That's because eggs and butter are essentially as good as you can get for relatively high quality calories per dollar, period. I'm a carnivore. I don't eat carbohydrates for the most part. I just don't eat carbohydrates in any form. I eat meat and eggs and butter and occasionally cheese. Second goal is survive. $300 per month. Eggs and meat. $300 a month covers my recommended caloric intake of cheap ground beef and eggs. At that point, I will be able to resume lifting weights without it negatively impacting my health by burning calories that I cannot afford to burn. I have not been lifting weights for the last month, which sucks because lifting is something that I really love doing and is important to me and to my health. I have a weight set. Got a power rack and a bench and a barbell and a few hundred pounds of weights. And I would very much like to start doing that again, but I cannot afford to. I simply cannot. If I were to lift now, I would just be, my body would consume itself because I don't intake enough calories. At $500 a month, third goal, I will be able to eat relatively well. No more rationing. I will be able to eat my TDEE, my total daily energy expenditure, and I will have a few dollars left over for luxuries like milk and cheese. I'll also be able to purchase small things to help me on the channel, like more art supplies and potentially a new hard drive, so that I don't have to delete my stuff every few days. And then above $500 a month, I will no longer be on the edge of starvation. I will no longer have disaster looming. I will no longer be on the edge of catastrophe. I will be able to purchase hardware to improve my recording and editing setup. I'll be able to do things like that. I'll be able to do things other than this. And beyond that, it it doesn't really matter at this point. I can't even imagine beyond that right now. A month ago, I couldn't imagine having $52 a month coming in from this. I had no expectation that it would go this flat, go this way, this fast. I fully expected to fail, to sink. But now that I'm in the water, it's working. It's working. I find that I float. And that's how it feels. That's really how it feels. I feel like I'm floating. Not treading water, just light. Floating. And it no longer feels as though I'm against the current, but that the current is behind me, and that I'm just swimming with it. It's amazing. It's amazing. No half measures for me. Not anymore. That's what I decided a month ago. No more half measures. I will give my all. And there's something interesting about the universe. I think it's a fundamental axiom, a law. And it's woven into many, many, many religions. Which is part of the reason that I think it is so fundamentally true of humans. When you give, you receive. It's in Christian works, Christian religious myths. Cast your bread upon the waters, and it will be returned to you sevenfold. Take the only food you have and give it away. Take everything that you can of yourself and give it to the world, and you will be rewarded. That is truth. And I'm not Christian. I'm not religious at all, but I have a deep respect for religious truth. It's a Buddhist idea as well. Becoming an ascetic, giving up everything. Recognizing that you are not separate from the world, non-duality. It's a karmic idea, and it's true. It reminds me of something last week, actually, in Girl's Last Tour, when Yu gives her candy bar, her ration bar, to the map maker, and Chi breaks hers in half and gives her the half. There's deep truth in that scene, and we just hit upon it. Cast your bread upon the waters. Deep, deep truth. And we get a little bit more of this in part 3. And we got a little bit of it in last episode. When he helps Momo, when he cares for her, he regains a piece of himself, a piece of his memory, a piece of his ability to feel, something infinitely more valuable than the tiny bit of help that he gives to her. He regains a piece of his sorrow, a piece of his grief, and that is something that he needs. Perhaps it should be Cast your bread upon the water, and the universe will provide what you need. For man does not live by bread alone. There's a little bit more of it in part 3, the after credits. How is it that my head fills up so fast with only my own problems? That realization is an important one. It's one of the things that leads humans to depression is living for themselves. Because living for yourself is empty. It's meaningless. It's like a line that Griffith says in Berserk. Living just because you were born is a notion that I cannot stand. I hate it. Living just because you're alive is not fulfilling. We are social creatures, and if we are not contributing to the world, something in us turns off, feels as though we might as well not be. We have to be giving of ourselves in order for the beautiful gifts of life to have any meaning to us. It's paradoxical, but it's true. We have to give of ourselves. And that's what he's learning. That's what Ray is learning. That's what I'm learning. This episode really hit home. If you couldn't tell by the fact that this video is how long now? 1 hour and 20 minutes. Yeah, if you couldn't tell by that, this episode really, really, really hit home. For me. This show is important. This show is the product of a group of brilliant people giving of themselves. Like all beautiful works of art, of love, this show is people putting in their all to give a gift to the world. And it is a gift. And I am grateful. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up. I've been Teeaboo. This has been Sangatsu no Lion episode 6. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. I hope you've enjoyed my blathering on about myself and how much this means to me for an hour, basically, because the episode is 25 minutes, and the rest of this hour and 22-minute video is me talking. I hope you've enjoyed it. And as always, I hope to catch you in the next one. Peace.